A season of letters? The rain had not stopped for 3 days. It came in sheets that turned the cobblestone streets to mirrors and blurred the edges of Mayfair's grand facades. From the drawing-room window of Hartwell House, Miss Clara Montrose watched the storm with quiet resolve, the letter trembling slightly between her fingers. It was the 5th she had written this week, and the 5th she would not send. The ink was barely dry, the words carefully chosen, each one a thread in the delicate tapestry of longing she dared not name. For though Clara was a lady of breeding and composure, her heart had long since been captured by a man she could never acknowledge, Captain Edmund Blake, the younger brother of her betrothed. The engagement. Society had applauded her engagement to Lord Nathaniel Blake, heir to the Blake estate and one of the most eligible gentlemen of the season. It had been an arrangement born of reason and circumstance rather than affection, the kind of match that promised stability, not passion. Nathaniel was courteous, intelligent, and wholly predictable. He spoke of politics and propriety, of the duties of title and lineage. And yet it was his brother, the irreverent, charming, maddening Edmund, who haunted Clara's thoughts. He had returned from service in the colonies the previous autumn, a soldier with sun-browned skin and laughter that filled any room he entered. Where Nathaniel offered her logic, Edmund offered warmth. Where her fiancé observed, Edmund saw. Their connection had begun innocently enough, shared glances at family dinners, conversations in shadowed gardens, letters exchanged under the pretext of friendship. But soon those letters had become the one place Clara could breathe freely, her words blooming into truth she could not speak aloud. Until the day she wrote, "If I were free to choose, I would choose you." And he had not written back. The silence between them, 2 months, passed without a word. The season unfolded with its endless parade of balls, teas, and polite smiles. Clara performed her role to perfection, each curtsy a mask, each conversation a carefully orchestrated lie. But sometimes, in the stillness between dances, or when candlelight flickered upon a glass, she thought she felt Edmund's presence. Once, at Lady Ashby's soiree, she caught sight of him across the room. He looked different, thinner, the brightness in his eyes dimmed. When their gazes met, she felt her heart twist. He gave the smallest shake of his head, a silent plea, "Do not speak to me." Later that evening, she found another letter beneath her fan in the retiring room, unsigned, sealed in plain wax. Inside was a single line: "For both our sakes, forget what you wrote." She pressed the note to her chest, her pulse echoing the storm outside. The return of the letters' weeks turned to months. The wedding date was set for September. The invitations had been sent. And then, one evening, as the last of the summer light faded from the sky, a package arrived for Clara. No return address, only her name written in a hand she knew too well. Inside were all the letters she had written to Edmund. Every word, every confession, every trembling secret returned to her like ghosts. Her heart clenched. There was a note at the bottom, and his unmistakable scrawl: "I could not destroy what was honest, but honesty, I have learned, is not always kind." She read the letters one by one as the candles burned low, her tears blurring the ink. The house was silent save for the whisper of rain against the glass. And when she reached the final page, she saw something new, faint, written at the edge of the paper. "I am leaving England, tomorrow at dawn." The chase at dawn, the city was still half asleep. Clara, cloak hastily fastened and heart pounding, left Hartwell House for the docks. The coach wheels splashed through puddles as fog rolled in from the river, swallowing the streets in gray silence. She reached the pier just as the ship's bells tolled. Through the mist, she saw him, Edmund, standing at the gangway, his bag slung over his shoulder. Edmund. The name tore from her like a wound reopening. He turned, disbelief written across his face. "You should not be here," he said, his voice low, urgent. "You're to be married." "I am not yet," she whispered, stepping closer. "And I could not let you go without." Her voice faltered. Without knowing if you ever truly meant it, his expression softened, a flicker of pain crossing his eyes. I meant every word I never should have written. Then why send them back? Because love without honor, he said, is only ruin. For a moment, neither spoke. The ship's horn wailed, a sound like mourning. And then he did something she had not expected. He reached out and pressed her letters into her hand once more. Keep them, he said. Let them remind you of what must not be. And then he was gone, swallowed by fog and fate. The season ends. The wedding was canceled before the first leaves fell. Society was scandalized, but the true reason remained a mystery. Lord Nathaniel Blake withdrew from London life, and Miss Clara Montrose disappeared to her family's country estate. Rumor had it she was unwell. Others said she had taken to writing again. Long walks at dawn, ink-stained fingers, letters she never sent. But those who passed by Montrose Manor on misty mornings sometimes claimed they saw her standing at the edge of the garden, facing east as though waiting for someone. Epilogue. The last letter, years later, on an autumn morning. A package arrived at Hartwell House. Inside was a single letter, yellowed with age, sealed in red wax. It read, My dearest Clara, if this reaches you, I have been gone far longer than I intended. I thought I could forget, but memory is a tide that returns no matter how far one sails. You were my compass, my truth, and my undoing. The world has given me many sunsets since that morning by the docks, but none so bright as the one that fell upon your face. If ever you forgive me, light a candle at your window. I shall find my way home. E. That night, for the first time in years, Hartwell House glowed with the light of a single candle, soft and unwavering, burning long into the dawn. And in the pale morning mist, a figure was seen approaching the gates.